Princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we have a brand new palette from Melt Cosmetics. This is the Gemini 2 palette. What is that? Did I hear you groan? Oh no, Rebecca. Is it another deep plum rose palette? Yeah, it is, but this one is a little different, so give it a chance, give it a chance. We are going to talk all about this and compare it to the Gemini 1 and a whole host of other deep rose and plum palettes, because that does seem to be the palette of choice these days. We had rose to begin with, and then it's kind of developed into this really deep kind of earthy plum rose. Artist Couture has another one coming out that I'll be reviewing towards the end of this week or early next week. So lots of that happening, and I tried to anticipate what comparisons and swatch comparisons you guys will have, but if I miss any, I'm happy to do them over on Instagram. Okay, so we have the Melt Gemini 2, super beautiful packaging, this kind of hard cardboard, nice and thin for Rebecca's storage convenience. Thank you, Melt. And it just kind of is down, has a nice little mirror. We're going to look at it, swatch it in two different lightings, and compare it. It is $58. This is the Rose Riff on the original Gemini, and I have the original right here it's been repackaged. So let's talk about that. So the original Gemini, which we're going to look at in a minute, these are both $58. You can get them in a bundle over on Melt. I have them linked below, but you can get them in a bundle at Melt for like $100, and I think I got them for $80. Just letting you know. But I do have them linked also at the Sephora, so they're on sale. Okay, I had skipped the original Gemini 1. At the time, I was writing and editing beauty, and they hadn't sent it to my magazine or anything like that. And I wasn't that interested in Melt palettes. Like, I had done really good with the stacks, but I didn't love the palettes at the time. So I had not bought the Gemini 1. So I picked it up this time because they repackaged it. And this one, the very first Gemini, if you recall, was kind of warm and neutral tones and a lot of kind of greens and such. So you're going to say, well, what would the second have anything to do with it? Well, this is where the second one comes in. So the second one, now we have the Melt Gemini 2, is rose tones and wines, but it also puts in those moss shades. So here is Gemini 2. Here it is. You can see my fingers have been all up in it. It's got these beautiful, as I told you, a mirror here, and look at this beautiful rose. And it's got roses embossed into the pans, and here you have it next to its big sister, and you can see where they're related. And what's interesting about this new one, the Gemini 2, what's interesting about it is, yes, it's these kind of plum and deep rose and wine shades that we've been seeing, but in adding the olives and the moss shades and the earthy tones, it gives it a little bit of a different feel than, say, the one we're going to see from Artist Couture, the one we just saw from Patrick Ta and Charlotte Tilbury, etc., etc. But let's get to swatching. I don't like to do too many swatch comparisons. A 45-minute video of swatch comparisons loses my interest, so I always just assume it would lose yours. So we're going to go through them real quickly. If I miss any, I'm sure I will. Just ask for them over on Instagram. I'm super happy to swatch for you guys. I usually just take an hour or so in the day and just do them all. So I'm happy to do it. Just let me know. First is first. We want to just talk first about the brand new Gemini 2. So let's take a look at it swatched in studio lighting first before we go outside. Here is the brand new Melt Gemini 2 in studio lighting. Take a look at all 10 new shades, new mattes. I think there's 2 shimmers in there. There might be 3, but 2 shimmers in there. Beautiful, beautiful shades. They swatch and apply so well, which I was very relieved about. I have not played with the Gemini 1 yet because they just arrived, but I will, and I'll let you know. But I was quite pleased with the saturation and how I was able to work with these shades. So I give that a thumbs up. All right, let's step outside into the very warm California sunshine. It's going to be 100 degrees Fahrenheit for the next 3 days. No, that is not a good thing. If you are jealous, you come here and you know it's too hot. It's too hot. So let's take a look at it outside in that hot California sun. There it is. Very, very beautiful colors shown off in a shady spot so you could really see them well. I always try to find shade. Sometimes it avoids me. Okay, before we go to the demo, let's do some comparisons. The very first comparison that I want to show you is I put on the kind of upper right side, I left that Gemini 2 at the bottom of my arm. And then above it, on the upper left, you'll see Charlotte Tilbury's new Pillow Talk Dreams. And on the upper right, you will see just the green shades of the original Gemini palette. So let me show you, and then I'll tell you it again. On the bottom, we have the brand new Gemini 2. And then above it, in the upper right, those are the green shades of the original Gemini. Upper left is the entire Pillow Talk Dreams quad that's new from Charlotte Tilbury. I thought you would want to see those earthy rose shades compared. All right, moving to the next, I figured you would want to see the brand new Patrick Ta, which is very rosy compared to it. So on those two, let's first look at them here in the pans right next to each other. Of course, this is Patrick Ta, and this one is the Melt Gemini 2. And then here in the image we're going to go to, we have Patrick Ta on the top with that Gemini 2 still on the bottom. So take a look at that, just to give you just a sort of a comparison. And then what I have done, now this one, I had to use a little marker to put a little squiggly line between them so you didn't get confused. On this last one, I have left the Gemini 2 at the bottom of my arm, and on the top left I have put relevant shades from the Natasha Denona Retro MIDI. There's a lot of relevant shades, and then I put a little squiggly line you're going to see, and on the top right is relevant shades from the Huda Naughty Nudes. Remember that one? That has a lot of kind of rusty colors in them. So let's go to that slide right now. Once again, on the bottom, we have Gemini 2. On the top left is relevant shades from the Natasha Denona Retro. And on the top right are relevant shades from the Huda Beauty Naughty Nudes. Okay, if anything is missing in there that you would like to see, just give me a holler here or on Instagram. Super happy to do it for you guys. Let's try out this Melt 2, Gemini 2 palette now, and just achieve this rather wickedly Melt cosmetics-y looking thing I got going here. Let me show you how I achieved it. Stay right there. Okay, let's get started. I will put the names of the shades on the screen next to me. And I'm going to start out with a BK Beauty 201, and I'm going to go into the very first shade right here and just move kind of from lightest to darkest. I might actually do a, I'm just covering the eye here. I might actually do a greener shade, a more olive shade, kind of a la Gemini 1, the original, only because we've just seen so many rose shades that maybe we need a break. Again, I say that in advance of Artist Couture releasing a kind of mauve palette on, not kind of, a very mauve palette this end of this week. Okay, this is my absolute favorite BK Beauty brush. Does anyone else love this one? This is a 204. Oh my gosh, it just gets in the darndest of places, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to put that into the first shade as well that I just used, and just run it all the way under the eye. Love this. Love that pencil. That brush. And then I'm going to go into our second shade here. Same 201 brush that I used earlier. I brought out the BK Beauties for this palette. And I'm just going in there. Second one right there. And just kind of, you know, kind of back and forth, more circular than back and forth in the crease. Very pretty so far. Nothing to complain about. And very rosy. Even though I said I wasn't going to go too rosy, I don't know that there's too much we can avoid. Remember, a lot of mattes here and only two kind of shimmers, okay? All right, let's take a 202 BK Beauty and let's go into the last shade right here. I said I want to try to stick something that's not just these rose shades, and let's see what happens when we put green with rose. It's kind of an interesting idea, isn't it? I don't know if that's what I would put together. What do they say? Red and green should never be seen. Right? I mean, there's generally not two shades that you would put together, but since I kind of have a red lip, this is one of those new Esum lip pencils, Brazen, that I'm absolutely in love with and I keep playing with in so many of my videos, and it's pretty brazen red. I tried to just do it as a stain, but I figure let's do it. let's throw caution to the wind. Back to my favorite, 204. Same kind of green olivey shade. Would you have normally thought to put these shades together? I don't know if I would have, but I did. Okay, so let's, all right, same brush here, the 202. I kind of want to go into this one right here. This is almost like a brownish red right here, fourth over from the very right of the palette. I just kind of want to darken it and just see what happens. I mean, are these going to go muddy? Are these going to, no, so far, pretty good. I still have an olive shade. Now I have a brown over and around it. Time for a little bit of a metallic, I think. But which metallic? Gosh, how much? All right, let's go for the green olive metallic, I should say. And I'll just put that then on the inside with my finger. No fallout, which is good. It's not very glittery. It's just kind of a shimmer. So there shouldn't be fallout, but there isn't. Ooh, that's kind of pretty, isn't it? That's a little different. All right, and let's take, I need something, I feel, just to kind of lighten the very, very inner corner of the eye. Maybe I don't, but maybe I feel like I do. So I'm just going to take a really clean 206 brush from BK Beauty, just because I brought out a bunch of them, and go into that shade that I had originally kind of primed my eye with. And that's just light enough just to feel like I'm adding a little something, taking that same brush and that same shade and just kind of taking any harshness out of all that olive that we put in there, just kind of painting it over. I kind of like it. I feel very Melt Cosmetics. Does that make sense? They have a certain look, especially with their advertising and it feels very Melt to me. If you know, you know, right? Okay, let me get some mascara on because I definitely need some of that. And then let's discuss it because I want to talk about these rose shades and things like that. So stay right there. Okay, what do you think? It's a look. It's interesting, when you have, it gets really moody when you add in these olive shades. Take a look here at everything. I used the Melt Waterline, the Slick Waterline liners. I used the Cocoa shade. I really love the colors of those. They don't quite last long enough on me, but I do like the shade. So this is the Cocoa shade. And I added this Givenchy, this lip shine thing over the red. So we have kind of an orangey red. And it is a very moody look. I absolutely admit it. It's a little different for me, but I kind of like it. It's an interesting color combination, this palette. Fortunately, I did find that the shades all performed really well, and I will mess around with the original Gemini and let you know that too, because as you know, I had skipped that. It's an interesting color story, and that's why I said it's so Melt, because you would think that it would just stay really girly, but very typical of Melt and very endearingly of Melt, they take it a little bit harder. They take the edges, and rather than going pink and putting some pinks in, they go with a grungy olive green, which just kind of toughens up the palette and just makes it much more Melt. And I do appreciate them for that. I found that they performed really well. If you are wanting one of these deep rose palettes that's coming out, but you would like yours to have a little bit more of an edge, and there's certainly a bunch of looks you could do. I felt like I had to dip into the brownish berries at some point, but you wouldn't have to. You could do all green. You could even do a really girly look or a really minimal look. So this palette definitely gives you a lot of options. I love the artwork. It's lovely. It's beautiful. And lately I've been really getting into this kind of packaging. Look how thin that is. It just stores really well. And I don't know. I mean, their packaging has just been beautiful. It always has been, but even more so, I think, lately. So I think a really fun, interesting palette. This color story might not appeal to you. In fact, down below, if it does not appeal to you, tell me why. And if it does appeal to you over the other kind of deep rose palettes that are coming out, tell me why specifically too. Is it the addition of the moody olive greens? What are your feelings about that? Because I would absolutely love to know. If I missed out on any of the swatches that you need, the comparisons, just let me know. I'll do it over on Instagram. Or, I have had people before ask for repeats from the video over on Instagram. So you could freeze it or take it with you to the store or whatever it is you need. That's fine too if I didn't leave it on screen long enough for you, or whatever it is you need, princesses. I am super happy to help out. Just let me know down below in comments. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I sure hope that you did. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. We're at over 8,000 now. Next on the horizon will be 10,000 and then world domination. So definitely, oh, did I say that? Oh, help me achieve it. So definitely make sure that you subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.